Warning, this video contains strong language and offensive content. If you like those things, cool. But if you're a bitch ass nigga and you don't like those things, you might not like this video. But for the ones that do, enjoy this video.
You're just back with another video. I just got done watching Power Season 6, Episode 8. Yeah. What an episode. Some things I liked, some things I didn't like. And I want to apologize ahead of time if my voice sounds weird. This weather change is killing me. But like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at PerpMinded420. And let's get right into this review. So it starts off, we get a stray running up on Sax saying, "You gotta get this ankle monitor off me," and Sax is pretty much like ignoring him. Then he hops on the phone with Ghost and he still wants to do business, but Ghost can't do business with him with the ankle monitor on, so that's gonna be an issue for Dre going forward. But I really wish they would just get to the point and kill Dre. It's just like they're really milking it at the. So then we catch up with Tommy and Lakeisha and Cash, and they're all settling into the new house. And Lakeisha is trying to tell Cash, like, "Look, you're gonna probably be the only black kid in your school, yada yada yada." And I like how Tommy throws in, "If you have any issues with anybody, don't call the cops, just call me." that was pretty funny. So then we catch up back with Sax, and he goes to visit Tamika for advice, and this gets him to start going around questioning Tyreek and putting the pressure on Lakeisha. And you know, this is a dangerous game that Sax is playing right now, because he's not really a cop anymore or a fed. So what he's doing is pretty dangerous, and I'll get into that later in this review. So then we meet Tyreek's English teacher or history teacher, and he's already shady. This is a plot that I didn't really care for. You know, I don't really like when they just show you new characters when this is like the last season. It's very suspect. But then we go back to Lakeisha, and Kate shows up, Tommy's mom, and she pretty much spills the beans on what happened with Holly, and that kind of worries Lakeisha. That kind of gets into her head, but she doesn't show that towards Kate and just kicks her out. Speaking of mothers, you know, Tasha is the mother of the year, obviously. You know, she's sitting there teaching Tyreek how to count money and how to, you know, she's teaching him the game, which is stupid. Really stupid. And Tasha's mom walks in and starts flipping out on her like, "Don't do that to my grandson." So then we get another scene with Sax knocking on Blanca's door, and I knew Blanca was a carpet muncher. I knew it. But anyways, you know, they're discussing, you know, the Ray Ray case and just everything in general, and you know, Blanca is just going to use Sax at this point and just throw him under the bus because she doesn't really care for her. But she's also getting her hands dirty in this episode also, but she's doing it kind of the right way instead of the way Sax was doing it. So Sax gives up the location to where she could find Dre, and you know, she presses Dre, you know, and promised to take down Sax also if he plans to cooperate. And Dre gives Blanca Tyreek's name, which is going to be interesting to see how that's all going to play out towards the end of the series. But let's get to the stuff that I didn't really care for. I didn't really want to talk about this, the whole political side of the season. It's kind of it just doesn't do nothing for me. I just don't really care for it. But you know, there was a situation where Ghost kind of sabotaged Tate's just image, and now in return Tate is pulling out of the project for Raina, and that's not going to be a good look for Tate, because now Ghost is pissed, and Tate might die in the next few episodes or sooner. So then Tyreek is going around pretty much following his history teacher to find out what he can about like if he could trust him, who he is, and come to find out his family was involved with some Ponzi scheme or something like that. Interesting stuff. Don't know how it's gonna play out. I don't trust the dude. I don't trust no new character that they introduce right now. But going over to Lakeisha, she gets pulled over by Blanca, and she also brings child services. And this was kind of grimy. She threatens to take away cash from her, and she cracks in an instant and signs these papers to, to pretty much put Tommy away. And so Cash, I like Cash more than I like Tyreek. I'm gonna be honest. And Cash tells Tommy like there was these cops that pulled us over, and this automatically has Tommy a little bit paranoid. So he confronts Lakeisha about it and says, I'm not that person anymore. And Lakeisha was just kind of spooked, and she brings up the whole Holly thing. But what she doesn't know that Tommy really wanted her to be okay in case anything happened to her. And you could tell she's regretting her decision. Which leads me into the next scene where, we have Ghost and Tommy on the phone, and Tommy's like, yo, we gotta take out this dude Sax. He's sitting there violating and just crossing too many paths. When Ghost gets off the phone, Blanca's right there and brings up Tyreek, and that kind of just gets him kind of pissed, and she ends up taking like a glass for evidence or just for prints. So that might come into play later on in the season. And talk about stupid, right? So Lakeisha decides to call Blanca and say, oh, I lied. And this is just not how it works. It's too late. The feds are going to her house, and she tries to stall for time and tells her, like, look, let me get cash and I'll meet y'all somewhere. Meanwhile, Tommy and Ghost pull up on Sax and pretty much almost kill him. And Tommy is ready to just blow his brains out. But on the other side, Ghost is looking at like he owes us now. So he spares his life. But now Ghost now knows Proctor that he killed Proctor. So we get a scene with Blanca talking to Warren and, about just the Ray stuff and just everything. And he's pretty much impressed by it. But they also want to take Sax down at the same time. And now Dre is free, but he's still being used on both sides. So Ghost calls up Tasha and tells her, did you know that Tyreek used a fake name to get Kanan's ashes? And this causes a problem because now Blanca shows up at the door once, she gets off the phone, and she starts pressing Tasha about Tyreek and connecting things to Ray, and this is really making Tasha nervous. I'll get back to it. I'll get back to that very shortly. But here's a highlight of this episode. One of the highlights of, Sax getting fired. Warren not really caring what he has to say, even though Sax got his ass whooped and his face is kind of banged up. But let's cut the bullshit and let's get to the real nitty gritty of this episode. So meanwhile, while Cash and Tommy are out at the mall and Tommy's looking for a ring for Lakeisha, Tasha pops up to confront Lakeisha and says, yo, you can't go around snitching. And they have this back and forth with the gun, and then bang, Lakeisha is dead. Tasha just straight shoots her in the head, and I cheered so hard. I take everything up that bad I said about Tasha. This made up for it. She kills Lakeisha. not Tommy. And this was kind of sad seeing Tommy getting all excited, you know, wanting to start a family, because he always wanted what Ghost had, is just a family. And now he walks into Lakeisha with a bullet in her head, and I really like the performance of the actor that plays Tommy. Very believable. The emotions were there, and that's the thing I like about Tommy and Ghost, and why they're the strongest characters, because, you know, whenever they show emotions or something like that, you believe it. But all this extra side shit in these episodes are kind of just not doing it for me. Overall, I thought this was an okay episode. They're taking a week break, so till next time, you know, stay tuned, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.